Hello, welcome to Boxing Bants. We're back here now with episode number 4. It's myself, Ciaran and Declan, writing for Heavyweight Boxing, and of course, Declan Gary, pro boxer, as usual. And we'll get straight into it with the AJ fights that was on the weekend. So we start off with the undercard, will we?
Yeah, start off the undercard. The David Price probably start off first with.
Yeah.
First good 4 rounds. He said he pulled out with his bicep was about to tear or was tore, one or the other. He said he had a bit of niggle in camp before it with the same problem. He said after the 4th round he said he couldn't throw no more, so he pulled out. It's going into the starting at the 5th.
He said he threw a flutter of punches at Kuzman. He actually rang his bell and but then you could see something go as he was throwing the combination, and then after that he just threw nothing. So you could notice that obviously that
it was on paper. I don't think a lot of people expect him to win, to be honest with you. And the way he was doing it, he did turn around and say he'd go to Russia and fight him. Yeah, that's how confident he is. That's how confident he wants it. He's a big heart, David Price, and he's a bit chinny. That's his problem as well. So.
A lot of people are talking after already about Kuzman fighting a bigger heavyweight because obviously he's been built as this person.
Yeah.
So they've obviously already just dismissed that fight now.
I think it's really unfinished business personally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would like to see David Price getting a whack at him because he was winning after the 4 rounds. There was still a lot more rounds to go, so you would have never known which way it would have gone. But I would like to see them go for the rematch.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But would it really appeal for the fans? I don't know.
Nah, it wouldn't. It appealed because it was on the undercard of Joshua Povetkin, also Povetkin, who he had a really good fight with. So that's really why it appealed, and he saw that as his opportunity. If he had won convincingly, and Joshua had won, maybe he thought that'll put him back in the mix. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Then we had Luke Campbell.
Yeah.
He had a smashing display, a boxing display. Looked absolutely great, he did.
Yeah.
Looks like he's got a bit of a new lease of life underneath Shane McGuigan. I thought he boxed very well. I thought he lost maybe 3 rounds at most, really.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it at the end. Mendy was disputing decision on his team. And people were just like obviously there's fights where maybe you can dispute a couple of rounds and a bit like Triple G Canelo probably, but there was just no room for debate there. No one really gave him 1 or 2 rounds really, and he was trying to debate the decision. Luke just completely outboxed him. He made the mistake last time he fought him. He was coming in out of range, and then he'd back himself to the ropes and he'd sit there too long before getting out. Whereas at the weekend, as soon as he felt that the ropes touched his back, he pivoted out straight away. I just didn't give him the opportunity, you know.
Looks like it was a good move for him. We'll only tell now in another 2 or 3 fights. I'd still like to see him have another shot at Linares.
Linares, yeah.
You know what I mean? But
does it make sense now though that Linares doesn't have a belt and it's very dangerous now? Do you know what I mean?
It is now. But listen, he gave a great performance against him, so I would like to see if I do think Linares will win another title again, you know what I mean? Yeah,
well, obviously, actually this week it was announced that Lomachenko was actually in England this week, but he's going to fight, obviously, Pedraza, like we spoke about, on the 10th of December to unify the belts, and then obviously him and Mikey Garcia will fight. So then obviously that's Luke Campbell kind of waiting in the wings, waiting for something to happen, you know what I mean? So it's difficult to know, you know what I mean, the politics of it all, you know.
It's boxing for you. Who else was in the card then? You had Askins against
Coley,
which was an absolutely terrible fight. Anyone watched it? Even they, I think they put Coley put his hands up and said absolutely how bad of a performance it was, how brutal it was. Askins was saying it was like WWE. He's gutted, you know what I mean? He's devastated with that kind of. The way he got away, his opponent got away with what he did.
Yeah. It was stinker all right.
Really poor fight. I actually, I've always said, I think the match-rounds on the cards usually ain't the best. They ain't. They're never really. There's not many 2 50-50 fights. If they are 50 fights, it's usually two boxers who ain't signed with Eddie himself. So the undercard for an AJ for the pay-per-view was pretty poor, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Very, very poor, but he still knows how to sell stadiums.
Yeah, I think it's more the characters and the names of the undercard that draw people in, because obviously most of his fans are casual fans.
Yeah.
So Eddie Hearn, obviously he gets his pick of the bunch, so a lot of them are people with Olympic pedigree and things like that. So he wants to protect them and build them up. Whereas you look at MTK and Box Nation, the names aren't that big, but it's kind of the show itself that sells the fighter rather than the name and the pedigree. So it's kind of like, you look at the card that you were on, some of the fights were so down the middle. That's what drew the crowd in to watch these competitive fights rather than the names of the people.
Yeah, of course. Who else then? Then we have the AJ fight, which was, he was rocked.
Yeah.
And he was rocked bad. Listen, everyone knew how dangerous the fight was, you know what I mean? It was a dangerous fight, it was. I think it was for the first 3 rounds it was...
Yeah, it was touch and go, yeah. Eddie Hearn said in an interview afterwards, he said I said after the second round my butthole was going. he said he was like that.
That's his cash cow, you know what I mean? That's the golden ticket. He is protecting them, you know what I mean? I've seen a bit of a phone interview with Barry Ahern and Frank Warden saying, going back and forth, and they were saying, we basically want the world. Basically, it looked like they said we just want the Wilder fight. But what happens if Wilder loses the Fury? And they were like, we still want the Wilder fight, really, you know what I mean? Like, they don't seem to want to have anything to do with Tyson Fury. So it's an unusual one. Are you afraid of him, or which way does it work? I personally, they're giving out about saying, listen, if Fury beats Wilder, there will be their hands were thrown around saying there will be a rematch clause in, but Frank Warden was like, listen, whoever wins will fight AJ next. It's no problem. Whoever wins will basically he'll step aside and let them fight AJ. Only time will tell if it happens or not. I think it's one of them fights what has to happen. It really does have to happen. But is it going to be a Pacquiao Mayweather thing where it's just dragged out for absolutely years?
Yeah.
That's the problem. You want to see it happen in 2019 and in the first half of the season, I think, personally.
Eddie Hearn was saying in an interview, he said, look, obviously he wants to fight the best fighters, and you know, Dylan White's and all that stuff, like they're all going to be great fights. But he says, like, and he says Fury's a bit of a laugh, like, and all that, he wants to film. But he says with Deontay Wilder, he says he wants to knock him spark out. Like, apparently he's, because of how Wilder and his team have portrayed the matchroom team to the whole of boxing, in terms of saying the basic that they're avoiding him and they don't want to fight and stuff like that. Like, Joshua just wants to fight him just to beat him, like, do you know what I mean? As well as the money as well. Obviously, it wouldn't make sense if it wasn't going to be such a big fight. Like,
social media, isn't it? Really, you can make it look whatever way you personally want it. So
yeah.
Does he really want to fight? I've heard that the 50 million offer was legit. They're saying it wasn't, or there was something to do with contracts and this, that, and the other, or it wasn't enough set into it. So you just don't know really the ins and outs proper. Only time will tell if the fight does come off. I think personally, the fight, it could be a bit early for Fury. I still believe Fury is a much better boxer, and he's elusive and he's awkward and he's fast. So and listen, Wilder showed a few holes in him against Ortiz as well. You know what I mean? When he fought Ortiz, he showed a few holes. He showed that he could take a punch, but he showed a few holes in him as well. So
it's
Wilder hasn't fought really anyone either.
No, well, you look at AJ's record though now. When you start to look at it, it's for 22 fights, mate. It's not bad. Like, do you know what I mean? For the people he's fought Klitschko, he's fought Povetkin, Carlos Takam, Dylan White. Brazil, like.
But look when he fought Dylan White, right? Pure novice, to be honest with you.
At the time, I
still think he's a. I still think.
Oh, he's still raw. He's definitely
very raw.
Still raw.
Like, he's learning underneath Sims, and he's still fairly novice. But like Klitschko, he was laid off for near enough a year and a bit, waiting for
waiting for Fury,
Fury again after picking up the first loss. Like, Povetkin he's a good boxer, but he's old to a certain extent as well, you know what I mean? He's at the last legs. Like, they're picking the right opponents at the right time. Fury, like, even Fury, like, if they fought Fury, people would say Fury ain't right, he hadn't had enough. And I personally, I would have liked to see Fury have at least 2 more fights probably 2 fast fights,
Yeah.
or even one straight away fight after his last fight, and a bit of a break, then one warm-up fight, and then into the Wilder fight. But
Yeah, we all want to see a peak Fury against a peak Wilder.
Yeah,
you know?
like you want to see them be at the best instead of any excuses. But I believe that it's what he's doing in camp. They have the confidence in him that he is back to himself. You know what I mean? Last fight I wasn't overly impressed with him. He put on a good boxing display, but like anything else,
his opponent, like he probably would have been made to pay against someone else. Like obviously he was on the ropes, and he was being very evasive. But Joshua was saying, like, if that was him up against the ropes against someone like Wilder, or Joshua says he would have lit him up. Like, you know what I mean?
But I personally think the best Fury beats the best Wilder or the AJ.
Yeah.
Like AJ is good, you know what I mean? But just how good he is, we don't know, you know what I mean?
I think the great thing about it is with the heavyweight division now, because obviously, like, people don't really appreciate how good Vladimir Klitschko was, how really good he was in his prime. Like, just no one could touch him. But
it was just because it was boring to watch, because at that heavyweight you want to see knockouts, and he wasn't a big knockout merchant, and he didn't take, like, at the end of the day, you shouldn't take a shot to give a shot in boxing. Yeah. And he definitely didn't do that. But I love boxing, love the technical side of boxing, and I even found him boring, you know what I mean? Straight, long jab, always, you know what I mean? It was pretty boring, but like I just don't think that it's never going to be the same as the way Tyson was around, that kind of area, you know what I mean? But it's good to see, like, you have Wilder coming to England, Ireland and England, and the fight, you know what I mean? Like, it is good, but it's what's on the 1st of December, isn't it, the Fury fight?
Yeah, it's in LA. Forget the name of the place now, but it's in LA. It's not in Vegas. It's about a 3-4 hour drive now from Vegas. So
it's all about luck and time. And even AJ, like AJ fought in the Olympics, and he fought the Italian. I can't pronounce his name. He fought the Italian. I think the Italian he was in the World Championships with myself. He was a world champion. He was. I think he won the Olympics beforehand. I think. I know he did win the Worlds, but AJ lost the fight against him. If you look back, AJ should have lost. I personally think in the Olympics.
In the final?
Not in the finals. It was the semis or the quarters. It was he fought. He should have lost in the fight.
I thought he lost the final.
So it's all down to luck, you know what I mean? It's all down to luck. This game is all down to luck. So they seem to be picking the right. Look, listen, he picking the right opponents at the right time. You know what I mean? I think, like, they have AJ, and now for Matchroom, I think it's White coming up then a little bit as well. So I think White is gonna be win a world title. Depends who's really there. You know what I mean?
I think like they were talking about it there during the week at Sky, and they said, like, you look at, so obviously Josh wants to fight the winner of Fury and Wilder, and the chances of that happening in April, like, because they haven't just like Eddie Hearn was saying in interviews, like, they just haven't been getting back to him. He says, do you want to fight in April? But at the moment there's talks between Derek Chisora and Dylan White for December, and that's going to be a box office, that's going to be pay-per-view. Like, if that does happen, the thing is, Eddie Hearn was saying that if Wilder doesn't take the fight for April, it's probably going to be White and AJ in April, and if that happens, is Dylan White really going to take the Derek Chisora fight, and then he'd probably take a tune-up, and then he'll fight for the title then in April. But the thing is, with Dylan White, he's not really afraid of anyone. He'll fight anyone anytime. And he's the type of fella, he probably would take the fight, but it's stylistically it's very even, the fight, you know what I mean? The last fight was a cracker as well, like, but there was a lot of banter between them before in the weigh-ins and the public workout, which was funny. They basically agreed right there and then that they were going to fight, like, in December. But it's hard to know, like, realistically, Dylan White, he really deserves a title shot. I think the best.
I think he's been number 2 in 2 different government bodies already, so he does deserve to be there.
I think originally the plan was he wanted to give him a shot against Wilder and then have unification then and with AJ, but obviously Wilder wants nothing to do with him. Wilder wants the big money fight, so I think he's hoping that if the WBO call him mandatory, it'll be Dylan White who's the mandatory. So then it's a lot of money, and he's covering a mandatory. So that's 2 birds with 1 stone. Like, but it's the great thing about it is the heavyweight division is that everyone has these studs that can beat each other. Do you know what I mean? So you look at Wilder and AJ. while like AJ, he's a tight guard, but he's absolutely no head movement, and he moves linear. So, and Wilder's obviously the strongest thing that he has is the 1-2 straight in the middle, whereas Joshua throws these combinations to hit you with the 4th or 5th shot to throw you off balance, and Wilder constantly gives up ground and comes off balance. So it's kind of like, you know what I mean, it makes for a great fight, like, you know. And then the press conference and the fight tomorrow, it's going to be George Groves, Callum Smith, which
was an unusual press conference. Very unusual. Really is no one really there because of it's boxed off. Really, it's same with the fight. It's very unusual that it's a big money fight. I believe a lot of money, but it's not going to be. I reckon less than 1,000 people.
Do you think so? Yeah.
Yeah. But it's all them lads with plenty of dough. You know what I mean? Plenty of dough. Then, which
10 grand at the door.
Yeah, which is going to be a great fight. I personally think Groves will win, but like even the last fight for Groves against Eubank, they were like, if he loses, that's the end of him, and this, that, and the other. Groves ain't that old, I think.
21.
Yeah, that's what 21. You know what I mean? Like he's young.
I think it's more the wars he's been in, though.
Yeah, he's been in a few hard wars, but the Groffs, two Carl Frodge's one, sorry. Then the Badu Jack fight. Like he's not like I still like to see the Gale and Groves one more time. Yeah, you know what I mean. No matter what, I still like to see that one more time. I think Groves beats him, but I have a lot of scouts friends who know Callum Smith a lot more personal than me. I've seen Callum. I've actually trained 1 or 2 sessions in Spain with him, but I don't know him personally. And all the scouts who I know well are convinced that he's gonna win. Yeah, definitely gonna win. Like, and it's gonna be easy enough to a certain extent. I even watched his his interview with IFL TV, and he was saying to himself, he believes that he's gonna well win. He doesn't think it's gonna be an easy fight, but believes he's gonna well win. So a lot of confidence coming out of him. But Groves will come back from that injury, the shoulder pop. How will he come back from that? We'll only time tell. But as Callum Smith was saying, he goes, Groves is the champion, so he could easily have pulled now, still being world champion, and then then
he would have to fight Eubank in the final, but for
like he still would have been world champion. You know what I mean? If he did pull out, so do you reckon he wouldn't have? Do you reckon he's only fighting because he believes he's 100% fit and ready and healthy?
It's interesting as well.
It's gonna be a good fight
because Ring Magazine have now put that belt on the line, so whoever wins is recognised as the man in that division. Yeah. And the WBA Super Belt. A lot of people don't understand that one. Remember we were talking about before the regular and the Super Belt, like.
Explain it to the viewers there.
So basically, how it all started was the WBA had one belt, and the way it was that if you were the WBO and someone else is WBC, someone else is IBF, and I was the WBA, I'm just the regular champion. As soon as I unify a belt with someone else, if I beat you and I take your belt, now I'm elevated to WBA Super Belt. Yeah. And then what's happened now is that it's not being used correctly now. Now they're keeping the regular and the super. And Groves was fighting for a vacant Super Belt, which wasn't supposed to be the way it was supposed to be. Yeah. But the funny thing was, Keith Thurman was the interim champion for WBA when Marcus Maidana had the WBA champion Super Belt. Yeah. Or he had the regular belt. Interim belt was Keith Thurman. Yeah. Maidana fought Floyd Mayweather, had the WBC. Mayweather won, so then he was elevated from WBA to Super WBA champion. Yeah. So then Keith Thurman was told that he was going to get elevated to the regular champion, and he had no idea what it was. He had to look it up, and basically he was told, and he was like, "So I'm next in line then to fight Mayweather, obviously." And then he says, "No. The new rules are now that if you're a super champion, you don't have to fight any mandatories." So he was like, "So I'm the regular champion, but I can't fight the champion." So that was originally how it was supposed to be, and they were going to get rid of it, but it doesn't seem like it's going to change. Do you know what I mean? But look, I think we all know the WBA champions. Groves is the real champion. Anthony Joshua is the real champion. Yeah. You know. So, but what was I going to say to you? I was going to say to you about the Smith Groves one. A lot of talk that James DeGale is looking to fight the winner Sorry, he's looking to fight George Groves if he wins.
Mm.
And if he loses, apparently, I've got word that if George Groves loses, he's going to fight Eubank. That's what I've heard. Like,
if George Groves loses,
if George Groves wins,
yeah,
James Gale wants, he's going to probably fight George Groves.
Yeah,
because it makes the most sense.
Yeah,
but apparently he doesn't want anything to do with Callum Smith if Callum Smith wins. And in terms of money, it doesn't make.
So the Gale saying for Eubank, yeah,
you know what I mean? That would
could be. Yeah, Eubank is fighting on the undercard. I believe he's fighting on the undercard because of in case Groves pulled out.
Yeah.
With true injuries, that he was fit and ready, and he would have been getting the call straight away to fight the final. He's fighting Jay Jay Mc Donagh.
Yeah. Jay Jay was looking for a big fight for a while now.
Yeah, so he's fighting Jay Jay, as I'm aware of. He's fighting Jay Jay, and
he was looking to fight Ronnie Clark originally or something like that. No, sorry, I'm thinking of a different McDonough. Sorry.
So he's fighting Jay Jay, and Jay Jay. Last time I seen him out, he lost in the national stadium against Roy Shane. But Jay Jay is a dangerous man. He stopped what's the matchroom fella, Bale or something, his name is Ball. Something Ball it is. He sparked him out in one round. As far as I know, he pulled Jay Jay out of the pub 2 days before the fight, got into the ring and sparked Ball out in 1 minute. He won the WBA Intercontinental or some sort of title like that. I think it's a dangerous fight for I do think Eubank will overwhelm him and outwork him and break him down. But Jay Jay bangs, he's a good slick southpaw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
So then after that fight, then is obviously the show that we already spoke about. So the Belfast one after that.
Yeah.
So
speak about that the following week.
The
week closer. But listen, it's. The boxing season starts. You can sit in on a Saturday night.
It's getting exciting, mate.
And sit in and relax instead of having to go out.
Something to keep you quiet, you know what I mean? To keep us quiet, like if you don't want to be going
also,
out.
Also, James Power, a fellow, James Power, fought in Mexico. The youngest, the youngest Irish professional boxer is now.
Yeah.
I think
your
he's
dad's coach.
Yeah. They went over the weekend and got a second round stoppage. Very impressive. The young lad is only 17 years of age, still in school.
Yeah.
And I've seen him train. I think I sparred him once or twice. He's a good young lad, you know what I mean? A lot of potential. Good heart, good balls. Box a bit. He's improving underneath my father, and I'd like to see him move on to bigger and better things, you know what I mean? I'd like to see him have one more fight before the year's out, at least. And then he's like, it's a great achievement that the youngest professional boxer there is in Ireland. He's had a new record, you know what I mean?
What's his amateur record like?
I'm not sure. I think he's got to 3 national finals. He's been 3 national finals, like. So
he's gone through quite quickly, like.
Yeah. So listen, he's turned over quickly, but he knows what he wants to do. He's from Cork. He comes up twice a week. He's dedicated.
Really, yeah.
You know what I mean? He's dedicated. 2 or 3
Cork, Jesus.
Trip, yeah.
Jeez, that's a trek.
But he's improved. He's getting the good training. He's getting good taught new good moves, which he looked well in his fight. You know what I mean? There's a little clip on his Instagram. Go and check it out. So I think that's really it. Yeah,
I think we covered a lot there. So yeah. So as I always said, lads and girls, click the subscription,
like, comment, let us know what you think.
Yeah, and as I said, we'll be back next week with another episode.
Thank you all for tuning in.
Thanks very much.